Hello, this is my video summary for Physics 1401 Laboratory Experiment number 2. For this physics laboratory experiment, it is important to know how to measure the fundamental quantities like length, mass, and time with precision and accuracy. The materials I utilized for this experiment were a metric or tape measure, a metric ruler. I used also two pencils, three different sizes of shoe boxes. There's one of them. There's the other one. Also, I used 5 different plates with like different sizes, if you will. Here's one. Here's the other one. And here's the other one. And the other one. Okay. The spring scale as well. And then I did mention a tape measure. Yes, I did. Okay. So moving forward, for exercise number 1, is basically mainly the estimation of various measurements. In this exercise, I estimated the mass and length of different objects. I then compared these estimates to actual measurements by calculating the percent error. The procedure number 1 for length, I set up a data table to include the estimation of various measurements. Next, I estimated the length of a meter by placing a pencil at one end of a table and placing the second pencil 1 meter away from the first. Then I used my tape measure to measure the actual length of my meter estimate. Finally, I recorded the length of my meter estimate and calculated percent error of my estimated meter from my actual meter. The procedure for time, I estimated 30-second time period while my brother timed me using a stopwatch. I then recorded the actual time of my estimate and calculated the percent error of the estimate from the actual time. For the procedure in mass, I estimated mass of a paperback book of mine, which is I didn't mention that. Oh, here it is. Yes, here's the book, paperback book. So I use this for the experiment. Sorry, here's the other shoebox. This is the largest one that I used for the experiment. And 3 different size shoe boxes, 5 different plates, and the tape measure, 2 pencils. Okay. For the mass, then I determined the actual mass of the book using a 500G spring scale. Then I recorded the estimated mass and the actual mass and calculated the percent error. For exercise number 2, this is more in measuring using instruments varying degrees of precision. For this exercise, I used my hand, a ruler, and a tape measure to measure length of objects. Then I compared the precision of these different methods. So for the procedure, 3 objects were measured in this exercise. To begin with, my hand. When using my hand, I spread out my hand and used the tape measure to measure a distance from the tip of my thumb to the tip of my pinky in centimeters, and recorded my result into the data table. Then next, I used my hand to measure the length, width, and height of my paperback book, the shoe boxes, and the plates, the 5 plates. Then I converted the hand units to centimeters and recorded my results in data table 2. The number 3, the metric ruler, metric ruler and tape measure. I use the metric ruler to measure the width, height of the same objects from step 1 and record the measurements in centimeters in data table 2. For exercise number 3, though, this is more into the graph. Well, I graph the results, if you will, using a tape measure. I measured the diameter in centimeters for each of the 5 plates, and I did present that. There are the 5 plates. There we go. Okay. And the different sizes. Then I measured the circumference of the plates and recorded results in data table number 5. At the end, I graphed the circumference and the diameter using a computer spreadsheet program. For exercise number 4, this is involved in time measurements. First, I measured the vertical distance of 2 meters from the floor up. Second, I stood on a chair. So I'm sitting on a chair. This is a chair I use for my experiment. And I stood on a chair, excuse me, and held a shoebox at the more like the height